The garage of Paul Eisenstein. That's where I think that Trans Am is. The publisher, the DetroitBureau.com, and he's on the other end of our AT&T line. Is that where it is?
I think they just auctioned it off.
Did they?
Yeah, there was a big auction of all of Burt Reynolds' cars just about 2 months ago, and they made quite a bit of money.
It must be a really good car because I know it flew across that river and everything. It was like it was a supercar, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, pigs had wings too back then.
Is a Cadillac ever going to have an electric engine? Speaking of pigs having wings.
Well, I wouldn't call this a pig. Well, we got a big announcement over in Shanghai just yesterday. Cadillac is going to go into the plug-in hybrid business. Now, they have one already, as you know, the Cadillac ELR, which is sold so few that people don't even know it exists. Mm-hmm. But this is a whole new world. Would you believe a battery-based technology, plug-in hybrid, that will have as much performance as the most powerful version of this new flagship sedan?
What about range?
Well, this is the good thing, because with a plug-in hybrid, you don't really have to worry about it. They haven't given us hard numbers, probably get 30, 35, maybe 40 miles on battery alone. But when the battery runs down, the gas engine just kicks in and keeps going.
And then does the movement of the gas engine repower the battery?
We haven't, again, gotten all the details. I believe that it will help recharge the battery. This is the hot thing in the luxury market right now, going to plug-in hybrids. Mercedes just announced that they're going to be doing 10 plug-ins by 2017. Johan Denishin, who is the new head of Cadillac, told me that they will have plug-in versions, these new high-performance plug-in versions of virtually every car in the Cadillac lineup by the end of the decade.
Let me ask you this. Now, this is a dumb question, but when you have a vehicle like that, and it sounds like you do, or at least you've driven it, can you just plug it into the outlet in your garage?
Yeah, you can. Now, the batteries can be charged from a 110-volt outlet. And a lot of people do that with the Volt, the Chevy Volt. Mm-hmm. They just charge with 110 overnight. But usually, if you have a car like that, you want to get a 220-volt charge or 240-volt. It's a lot quicker. You can charge it up in about 2 to 3 hours.
That's the sort of thing that would power like a heavy appliance or something like that, as opposed to your hairdryer.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of funny because Americans think it's so special. In Europe, of course, everybody has 220-volt. That's what they use there. The chargers aren't too expensive right now. I think the prices have fallen. What's better is a lot of utilities, I think, the Detroit Edison, DTE, I should say, mm-hmm. still has a deal where they will work with you. They reduce the price on one of these chargers. And one of the advantages of that is that if you charge at night, they often have these special rate plans you can get for those chargers. So if you set it to only charge when power consumption is very, very low, they reduce the price on the energy.
See, I know you and I are roughly the same age now because you said Detroit Edison, and you probably remember NBD and, Stroh's and the Rattlesnake Club. I think that might still be there.
No, the Rattlesnake Club's still there.
I got to get there then. I haven't been there in a long time. I know Dunleavy's is closed. That used to be down across the street over there.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
In the old days. Let's look into it. Look at us go. Speaking of looking backward, I see these Republican presidential candidates now, especially when they're going to come through Michigan like they do. I wonder how badly they're going to be hurt by being against or having been against the $85 billion auto bailout. The government lost $9 billion on the auto rescue, according to the Treasury Department. And, for instance, the two candidates from Florida, Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush, were against it. And Jeb, of course, even though it was his brother who got the whole thing rolling.
Yeah, that is ironic, isn't it? And, of course, it didn't exactly help our last Republican candidate. He got hurt very badly. I think it may have been why he lost Ohio for doing this, and he didn't do well in Michigan, even though he had ties here. So, I think being against the bailout probably will hurt. And the argument, of course, that people will make is that, yes, the bailout did cost about $9 billion in terms of paying back what was provided to those two makers, Chrysler and GM. But in the long run, they've more than paid it back in terms of what they've provided in terms of American jobs and taxes.
Where are you traveling to next, and what are you driving today?
Luckily, I just got back. I was down in Austin, Texas, driving a new Cadillac ATS-V, the super high-performance model of their little car. And that was just a lovely way to spend a day on the track, the Circuit of the Americas, where they also do the U.S. Grand Prix, the Formula One race.
Austin's a fun town, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, Austin's great. A good example of what we should be doing here in Detroit. Lots of food trucks, lots of cool things that young people are excited about. You know, all the stuff that would bring even more young people in, the hipsters in, that are already starting to populate the city of Detroit.
Yeah, Tony, you're, 28?
29.
29. You would dig this. It's Congress Street, I think it's called, in Austin. And they have these old-fashioned, I forget what they're called, like Airstream trailers, and they're food trucks all lined up. But they have, like, you know, a little, like, lawn chairs in the front and that sort of thing, and some Art Deco neon signs and things like that.
Like the movie Chef. With
Yeah,
exactly.
one after another after another. And, Paul, they have really, like, unique different foods in there, too, if I recall.
Yeah, I've been told there are as many as 1,000 food trucks all over the greater Austin area. Literally, there are parks where you'll have 10 of them. And everyone has a unique proposition. So it's not just like the old days where, you know, it was a sandwich, the greasy sandwiches they sold at work sites. I had one the other day, which was just great. It was Thai crepes.
See what I mean? You're not going to get that anywhere else.
Thai crepes.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
There are all sorts of unusual, and you'll wash it all down with the same thing, a Lone Star beer, long neck, as far as I'm concerned.
There's a lot of good beers. Like Detroit, like Michigan, they have a lot of artisan craft beers down there.
Great to hear your voice again. Travel safely, and we'll see you soon.
Good to be with you.
Paul Eisenstein. You can see him right now at thedetroitbureau.com, thedetroitbureau.com.